All right, welcome to what I think is the most important part of this whole course, the part where we talk about optimizing your money. We're going to shift your thinking from just having a listing to actually running a revenue optimized business. Let's dive in and learn how to think like a big shot hotel revenue manager, but with simple, actionable steps you can start using today. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about a super common mistake, the static pricing trap. Then we'll learn how to actually read your market's demand. From there, I'm going to give you a simple 4-step framework you can use, show you the tools to make it all automatic, and we'll wrap up with a crystal clear action plan. Sound good? Let's go. Okay, so what is the single biggest mistake that I see hosts make over and over again? It's picking a price kind of based on a gut feeling and then just leaving it there for months. This whole set it and forget it thing feels easy, I get it. But I promise you, it is costing you a ton of money. I mean, just look at this. It's a tale of two hosts. On one side, you've got host A. They've got one price, that's it. Sometimes they're booked solid, but they feel like they got underpaid. And other times, they're sitting half empty, totally stressed out. Now look at host B. Host B is smart. They use a dynamic strategy, constantly adjusting their prices. And what's the result? More revenue and way less stress. And listen, we are not talking about a small change here. This isn't just a few extra bucks. The top hosts, the ones who really embrace these strategies, are making 20 to 40% more from the exact same property. That's the difference between this being a nice little hobby and a serious, profitable business. So what's the goal here, really? Well, it's something called revenue management. And it's not just about charging the highest price possible. And it's not just about being booked 100% of the time either. It's about finding that sweet spot, that perfect balance between the two to make the absolute most money you can over the long haul. To price your place like a pro, you first have to understand the why. Why do prices change? It all comes down to one word, demand. So let's become detectives for a minute and learn how to read the signals in your market. These right here are the vital signs of your market. You've got seasonality, your busy summer versus your slow winter. You've got local events. That one weekend with a huge concert can be worth more than a normal week. Then there's competitor availability. If everyone else is booked solid, that is a huge green light to raise your prices. And of course, knowing when people tend to book helps you plan everything out way in advance. Okay, so it's one thing to know all this stuff, right? But the real question is, how do you take all these little signals and bits of information and actually build a pricing strategy that works, one that you can rely on day in and day out? Well, here's your answer. This is the heart of this entire explainer. It's a simple 4-step framework that any host, yes, you, can put into practice right away to start pricing way smarter. Let's walk through it. It's like building with blocks. Step 1, you set a solid base price. This is based on your property's real value. Let's just say it's $100 a night. Okay. Step 2, you layer on seasonal changes. So in your busy season, maybe you add 30%. Now you're at 130. In the slow season, you might knock off 20%, so you're down to 80. Step 3 is for special events. That big festival comes to town, bam, you add a 50% surge, and now you're at $150 for that weekend. And finally, step 4, use smart discounts to fill any last-minute gaps you might have. See? Simple layers. Now, I have to pause on step 1 for a second, because this is so important. Your base price is your anchor. Please do not fall into the trap of just finding the cheapest competitor near you and matching their price. That is a race to the bottom that nobody wins. Price your listing based on its true quality and the amazing value you're providing. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a full-time job. I don't have time to do all this math every single day. And you know what? You're right, it would be. But the great news is you don't have to. We can let technology do all the heavy lifting for us. And when you hear a word like algorithm, don't get intimidated. Seriously, just think of it as your own little pricing assistant. It's a tool that takes all those demand signals we just talked about, applies that 4-step logic we just learned, and does it automatically, 24/7, to find the perfect price for every single night. Now, you've got a couple of options here. Airbnb has its own smart pricing tool. It's free, it's built in, and it's okay. It's a decent place to start. But honestly, it tends to be way too conservative and can leave money on the table. For anyone who's serious about this, dedicated tools like Price Labs are way more powerful, way more customizable, and they almost always make you more money than their small monthly fee costs. All right, we've covered the why. We've covered the how. Now it's time to actually do it. Let's move from learning to action. Here is your personal plan with a few clear steps you can take this week. Here's your homework. Don't worry, it's the good kind. First, go find 5 of your true competitors. Not just random listings, but ones that are really like yours, and study what they're doing. Second, based on that, set a draft base price for your place. Third, sketch out a 30-day calendar and mark the weekends and any local events coming up. And finally, just for fun, start a free trial for one of these pricing tools and see what it suggests. No commitment, just look. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Go look at your calendar right now. Is it priced for the opportunity that exists in the market today? Or is it still stuck on some random guess you made 6 months ago? The difference between those two answers, well, that's your profit.